Hey guys, sorry for the delay. I was rechecking a connection to one of our servers. Raise your hand. I know that I saw that you already raised your hand that you can hear me, which is great. Okay. So we've been talking about CMDB. We've created our own CI types. We've created our own subtypes, and let's try to work with them. Okay. Let's try to work with them and have them in the list. Okay, so CI types in here. I will create a new CI in which I will create it. For example, I will create an Apple iPhone 5. Know that the iPhone 5 doesn't exist yet. The CI type will be cell phones, and subtype will be iPhone. The category, we want category, no we don't want category. The status is active. Everything that comes from CI is high. The location of that CI is in Action South America. The owner of that CI is admin. The supplier of our phones is Matrix, and let's customize a little bit this category. We don't want supply date, the accept date, import item. We'll take out, and the priority also will take out. Okay, and required will be the CI type. And the type also requires save. Okay, this is iPhone 4. Okay, the supply date was yesterday. Accept it will take out. Don't care about it. Okay, and we'll create in OK. So now here, if I open the form, the Apple phone, I can see here that I have my form of iPhone. If I go to see a relation graph, I can start and see the map. I have it in the map. In this case, I have it alone, okay? I haven't yet linked in the map this item to another item. So for example, I update the iPhone using the cable and plug into my computer, into my laptop. My laptop is called SUP011. Let's see if we have it in the list, SUP11. Here we have SUP011. So we'll go back to the iPhone graph, okay, and I will go to CI relations. When we talk about CIs, the interaction between different two CIs is called the CI relation. We have different CI types, the relation types, in which we can select. For example, my iPhone is updated by computer, and iPhone, when I add photos and stuff, also updates my computer. Then we have two ways of work. So update by, we have access by, can access, connected to, consist, host, install on, part of. We don't update. We don't have updated by and update. So I want to create. I'll go here to CI relation type, and here I will create a new CI relation type. The affecting relation is updates media, and affected by relation is updated by, or updated, or for example battery charged by, battery charged by. Okay, so we'll go into our phone and we'll select a CI relation, and we'll add a new relation which is battery charged by. This iPhone is all time charged by, let's add SUP011. SUP011, in which should be around here. SUP011 sect. Okay, if I go to this graph, I can see here the Apple iPhone. I haven't saved the thing. In here, yeah, asset. The problem is that this asset is not yet is a CI type. No. Okay, so in this case we hear that from the asset CI that SUP011 updates media to the Apple iPhone. Now think about it. We're looking from the perspective of the SUP from the desktop. We're not looking from the perspective of the iPhone. Okay, so I will see update media from this point to another. If I open the iPhone, I go to CI relation graph. I'll display all in the graph, and this SUP updates the media, okay? Because we see it again, okay? Both of them in here. Updates media and affected, okay? You know, let's add another iPhone, okay? My iPhone and my co-work's iPhone also is updated by SUP011, okay? So we'll go into CI list, add a CI, and I'll add into the CI iPhone 5. This will be mine, Ronnie. What? Let's put in the beginning, Ronnie. Selected, we selected CI, no, it's cell phone, is a smartphone, iPhone. Okay, and automatically you see the form will change into my subtype form. Status is active, the location is in Europe, the owner is admin 2, the supply date was bought 2 ago, then click OK. Okay, in this case I have Ronnie iPhone and Joe's Apple iPhone. Okay, so enter to Ronnie's Apple iPhone and I will add the relationship. Okay, their relationship between them are also SUP11. Sorry, I have to select the relation type before. Battery charged by SUP011. There you go. If you go to the CI graph, I can see that SUP11 updates via to both iPhones. Okay. Now, no, sorry about it. We have two different CIs which are updated the media to the SUP. Now, if I go to SUP and I go to CI relation graph, I'll put that SUP relation graph under CI relations is update here to we have to put in here, and your answer is correct, both iPhones. Let's try again. Updates medium. I'll select in this case just one. We have a specific problem. See why we have a problem. We'll go to the graph and see updates media, and open the CI again. This is when we have live session that we can have. You know, this is the drawback of having, you know, test environments that we all the time play with them and change things and so on and so forth. So I'll try to select one of them. Try again. No, we have a specific problem with dates. Let's try to put connected. That's it. Is connected to these two iPhone. We'll see afterwards what will relate with the relation type. Now you see that is connected to and updates the media. So if we click here in F5, the relation graph, I'll put all. You can see that is connected and updates the media. It's actually great. I'll check afterwards why our CI relation was not corrected. But you know what? Let's create a new one. Do you know that between the two icons we have Bluetooth connection, right? Let's create a CI relation type. I save something in here. Supply. Let's save it in here. Great. C relation type. I'll create a new relation type. Will be affected relation receives gets Bluetooth data. And this one will be sends gets receives actually. That's the correct way to write receives. Receives Bluetooth data, sends Bluetooth data. Will apply. We have a new relation type, and between iPhones, let's click between them. So, Ronnie, my iPhone, CI relations, sends Bluetooth data to. It's Bluetooth data to Joe's Apple iPhone. Select, and Joe's Apple iPhone receives data from Bluetooth data from Ronnie's Apple iPhone. Let's see if it works correctly. No, because we already have a relationship in here. That's why. If to the graph, you can see here that. Okay, so we have a triangle in here. What we have in here we can understand from this. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's the same. SU7 is connected to Ronnie and updates media, okay? And is connected to Joe's, updates media. Joe's actually receives Bluetooth data from Ronnie. This is not correct in this case. I'll change it. See our relations. This one I will delete and I'll put receives Bluetooth data into Joe's. And this way, using these relationships and so on and so forth, this is the way in which we create our graph. That's correct. It receives, Joe receives Bluetooth data from Ronnie, okay? So in this case, this is the way in which you build your own map. You can add in different process, different applications. For example, we have your assets. SP11 uses a mouse. Let's create a mouse. Would be optical mouse. Ronnie's optical mouse. The select type will be mouse. Do we have a subtype in here? Don't have a subtype. And I'll select that the status active, and I'll click under apply. And under CI relations, this mouse is connected to my computer, SUP11. SUP11. There you go. Select. Now, if I go to SUP11, I see here in the graph that if I go to everything, I can see here that in this case I don't have a graphic icon for the mouse, so this is the default icon. And we can see that if we have an incident, if SP11 is down, what will happen? Okay, what do you think will happen? Of course, that will have every mouse, which is not a bad thing, but I won't be able to charge my both iPhone. I won't be able to send all my media updates into anywhere because they work with SUP11. Okay. If I go back to both examples that we talked about before, okay, this is a good example in order to build a CMDB map. We put the servers. Is the Sysaid that is installed on our server. The price quote is on the Mars server. Now the corporate website is the place in which the quote actually installed and being used. And corporate website is installed in Jupyter server. Okay, so if the Jupyter server goes down, what will happen? The corporate site will be down, but the price quotes will be able to send. Why? Because it's installed Mars server. Okay, you understand? Having a good topology, a good order of information, can create all your technology, map information, and it can be everything. Can be processed. For example, we can create. Sorry about that. We can create NCI type, which we processes. Okay, and under subtype, I'll select under processes, I'll select backup or daily backup. Daily backup. I can add an icon. I don't know if I have here an icon of this small icon that we can see in here. And we click an add. And now a daily backup. You create a CI version type. That means that runs every Wednesday on. For example, let's create a CI relation type. Affecting relation runs every Monday on, and the affect relation is triggered by click OK. Go our to say list and we create a new CI and select that this will be processes. The backup and we'll CI name will be hard disk backup. Okay, and this status will be active, and we'll apply and link this process into our SUP011. That means that will be what are my version types? Runs every Monday on this backup runs every Monday on SUP011. SP011. Why don't I here? I see it in here. I click here in select. I go to my relation graph, and now I can see that I have the icon is not correct in here, so I'll have to change the icon. Let's go to subtype. No, cancel. Okay. So you can see how important SUP011 is. Okay. If you have an incident about the SUP011, you can by a second know what are all the services that will be affected. Not only that, but if you want to upgrade, like Joe did, the server to another server, you know all the services that will be affected. Because why? You have a map. In this case, you can see how important a map is for many different aspects. And what you actually say is that the people working in the IT department, the amount of information you have is according to the amount of time they have been in the organization. We don't want that. From the IITIL perspective, it's not good. The IITIL base says all your technological information must be recorded and must be placed and must be visualized and it must be stored in a specific topology and specific map somewhere. That means the information is not meant to be in the heads of IT technicians. It's meant to be in a specific CMDB tool. So that's the CMDB tool we have in Sysaid. Okay, so that's an important thing to work with. Let's say you have your organization for every employee. You have 1,000 employees. Everyone will get an iPhone. Okay, an iPhone 5. i5 not existing. 9.4 for S is the latest one. So you create CI instead of going to the list and create one by one. Go and create CI templates. So we go into templates, add a new CI template, and here create iPhone. Let's create first of all the CI type. Cell phones. iPhone. Oh, corp iPhone. Corporate iPhone. Okay, the status is active. Now the status is very important because there are organizations that by law request to have the information of all the status of assets for a period of 7 years. Okay, if everything is, if something gets broken, stolen, or everything, you move it in inactive. Okay, or even if you want to move to broken, stolen, but the idea is to have a track of at least 7 years by law. I know that, for example, in some countries you can create, and I'll click OK. And in this case, we have corporate. Okay, in here one template, and that template you can use is a status that you can use it in order to link, okay, as many different CIs that you want, which is actually great. And what is the idea? The idea is to customize every CI form into what you see important. For example, the cell phone will have a phone number, for example. One of the main questions that arise all the time is what is the difference between a CI and an asset? I get all the time the question from the students. I don't know if I ask it in the chat. Let's see if we have, do we have any important questions from the chat? They have asked what is different between an asset. So I'll ask the question by myself. Asset actually, first of all, is a computing element in which you have an agent installed. Not necessarily an agent installed, but you can discover it using WMI, but it's actually something that is reporting to you that we are controlling, we are monitoring. In the case that is an asset, we can perform more control to it. You can access and chat with a different asset, and Sysaid gives you a module in which you perform management of assets. But let me example, what about iPhones? iPhones don't have assets. Don't have agents to be told. They cannot be assets. They are CIs. A mouse, for example, a mouse is not an asset. CI, okay, not connect to it. Not connect to a process. It's not an asset. It's a CI. CI is a configuration element, item you can create into everything that you want, even things that we haven't thought about. Okay, and other difference from the licensing side. In Sysaid, the assets are actually a part of the license. That means you pay per entry. If you bought, for example, 100 assets, you can put 100 assets. CI, you per module. That means don't pay per entry. You can have unlimited CIs and will not be of the licensing according to the quantity of CIs that you have. Okay? So that's another difference between the asset management and also that the CI gives you all the CMD gives you the relationships. Okay, you cannot relate between two different assets. Okay, you can relate between two different CIs by having. Let me tell you, a different on-site customers that are using Sysaid. They have such a beautiful CMDB that even me myself, only 1 year being 1 day, being there. When I just arrived, they showed me the CMDB. They can see all the map of everything that is happening in the IT department, all the processes, when they're happening, and they know they can mark who are the critical servers. Okay, and that takes me to the tips. Okay, on how and what's the best way in order to get a CI. First, you need to know that you know your environment. And you're the only one that can actually say and create your environment. We do have professional services here, a team in which you can always contact and be in contact with them and ask them regarding the different services that can provide in order to implement, if we're talking about CMDB or other modules. But think about it, you know your environment at best. CI, as we talked, is a physical, logical, or conceptual item. Can be a computer system, can be a logical instance of a soft program. For example, quote. If you use any, for example, CRM that sends quotes, then you can parse that CRM into quote module or customer management or reports. That means the reporting might be in a different place, and any business project like BEP, as we've shown. Best practices. Our tips from us and from IITIL, mark which CI affects crucial business processes. Mark them, okay? Mark which ones are critical. Of course, that a laptop of a simple end user will be different from the Exchange server, the main controller. Rely on business process mapping when processing incident and scheduled tasks also. Share and document information. That is the main key here. Share and document information of your organization. Okay? Also tips, keep your data updated, okay? It takes work. You can at a glance see the profit from it, okay? From the investment that you're putting. Keep data available, accessible for the different personnel that want to access. And don't put everything as a CI, okay? The first students all the time run and say, okay, I'll put the CI, I'll put the right click of the mouse as a CI, the left click of the mouse, another CI, the scroll down, then the mouse as another CI, cable of the mouse as another CI, okay? Because don't use, okay, the information, because otherwise you will have a map and you won't be able to understand anything that you have, okay? Because you can don't abuse the map, something that will be able to, in order for you to track and to understand. Make sure you use CI types and use them wisely. That means custom your different forms. If you want to pricing, we also have in here. Let me show you system. Add new template. Sorry, not a template. A list. Add new CI. If I go to customize form, see we have all of these pretty fine. All of these pretty fine. All of these fields. The word just went out of my head. All the fields that you have in here, you know to customize them. Okay, you go to translation, look for them, you change the caption of them. We can add a list here to my form. For example, this is a list that doesn't have any value. You go to the lists and customize and add. You should know it from the previous version. You can add any field that you want. You can build your own forms the way that you just like, okay? You know better your environment, all your CIs. Make sure in your help desk procedure you attach a relevant CI to every incident. If you have an incident or you have a change and problem in which we'll talk tomorrow, then you can select into a incident either assets or CIs. Let me give you an example. I go to my server desk. I'll wait for the system to load. I'll go to incidents and I'll add new incident. And in here I have I don't have. I go to the cog to customize, and we have here CI relation graph and CI relationship. I will add both of them. I'll click save. CI relation we don't have. Where's the CI? The CI that we have. We have here impact, in which I'll talk in it. Save. Impact, you decided, okay, according to seeing the CI relation. And if I go here to related items, I can, here you see, I can link this incident to a specific CI. For example, into an iPhone. I have here. Into this iPhone, for example. So in this, you know that this iPhone has this specific incident, which is coming from the mobile and device and problem with the device, so upgrade, and so forth. And what is interesting about it is from here, from the general things, you can already see the graph because I've added, and see all of the acting CIs. That means automatically you can see all the CIs. You don't have to open it, and this table is actually in here. So it's beautiful. Okay, just beautiful. You can even see all the things that this iPhone is connected to. This is the backup process, and you can see all of the map. If only Joe had this map, then he will still be happy about it. Description. Okay, you have the required fields in order to have the service request user. You need to go over all service. Israel description, we have open, you see hi request user admin, let's request, let me see if we can now select location, select location. Where do we have location? Here in the US. And then you can save the service request finally, and if we go to the CDB, then we can see here the list that we have iPhone, and we have service request in the help desk side, a service link to it. No, was this one, was Joe's help desk. As you can see, you have service request linked to it. You can see all the service requests and all the history, okay, everything that was added and so on and so forth. What else we have in the CMDB here? We have import. We talked about it, in which you can import everything. You can import CIs from an Excel table, CSV table, in which the exact way, for example, like assets, and you can set a default type. Okay, you just select the fields according to the columns. You should know it. We talked about it in the second session, I think, the third session, I don't remember correctly. And we have the CMDB settings. Automatically import any to the CMDB. This is automatically happening. Automatically remove deleted asset from the CMDB. This one we recommend to have it unchecked, because if by law you request to have a record of all the ads, then just don't automatically remove it. Automatically import a new service, a soft product to the CMDB. Or you can go over the ads you have here, also import assets, as to CI settings. You have here the help in which you can go, but this is the module. Okay, guys, can I get a raise hands for you to know you're still alive on the other side? Great. I know that is not the most interesting topic, IITIL and CMDB, but once we have to go over it in order to get certified Sysaid and CMDB, IITIL. And we have 15 minutes, even a little bit more, to talk about our next topic, which also goes over the IITL, which is SLA. But before, do we have any question regarding CDB or regarding web forms? Please, this is the time for you to ask. Okay. Say that you're liking. Okay, so thank you, David. You like the instructor, you don't like the part of the course. Question guy ask. Okay, possible to export. It is possible to export. Why? Because we have here a list. Okay, like any list in Sysaid, you can click in here in export in PDF for Excel, and exporting will help you if you want to perform massive change. If you want to perform a massive change of the quantity of assets, example location, I want to add all of them. You can see in the asset module that we talked about massive change using the Excel import. Okay, you export it and you upload it again with the location. You know what? Just if you are asked and you talked about it, sorry for that. I will export it. Let's say, for example, you see all of these printers, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 until 16. Want to add a use to location to. So how to do it? Massive change. I'll go over it again, like here in the Excel. Save the file. Okay, great. We open the file. If my Excel, there you go. And here we have CI name, the serial number, and I will delete all of they don't want. That means I want only the printers and the routers. So I'll take all of these down. I'll delete the rows. Delete the entire rows. Printers. What do we have in here? We have in here the serial number. I don't care about it. This one also I don't care about it. I don't care about it. Delete the entire columns. And as in location was under the active. So that means that this one is the location. I'll put here US, and we'll spread all of them to here, and and delete. I don't care about all of these columns. So we have here the ID, we have here the CI name, and we have location. So what to do with it? You have to upload it. So I will save it in my desktop. Into export one CSV into my desktop here. Beautiful. Save it, yes. I'll go to Sysaid. I'll import, and I'll select the do not import the headline. I want the No, we have 3 lines. The first one is the ID, CI ID. The second one is the CI name, and the third one was the location. You know what? Let me open again the table. CI ID, name, and location. Great. So I'll put my file, and let's see what happens. And I'll click in submit, and please provide a key file index to do a key file 1. Oh, the file was unselected. And 16 of CI is imported. So if I go to the list, I can see here that voila, all the location of the massive change was performed, also in those printers that I haven't seen. Okay, so this is the way that you perform massive. Okay, you can export, you can import. Okay, so we move into the next topic, which is in this case SLA. A small pick. Okay, don't be scared. It's not DB and IITIL concept. We over this the ITL concept. SLA actually talk about an agreement. Okay, every organization has a different have this concept of agreement. Okay, it can be an agreement towards the end user, towards the customer, or internally. For example, an OLA. OLA actually an internal agreement between organizations. For example, if you need help or you need something for different departments, then you have a specific agreement. They will give you in 3 years something that you requested. Again, in this case, we're talking about service agreement towards the end or to the customer. And Sysaid and IITIL, of course, comes from the ITIL. ITIL is okay. You have an organization and you have to provide. So that means you must take care a day that your organization works from the IT side. So you have to, for the ones asking for the service, the end users, should have a contract. And that contract have exactly what I tell you to have. First of all, it will have an expectation of time, okay, in which you will have to stand in order to fix a problem. It will have a routing, okay, to a specific person, so the end user can know and ask any question. It will have the hours in which the end user can ask those questions. It will have notifications in case, different rules in case that the due date is going to come. Let's go into the sim and let's try to see in the system how the SLA look like. We have here in module. Sorry, I'll open the webinar. three browsers, as you can see, to open. So anyway, so the so the SLA, if I go to the SLA module, I have here one default SLA, which is coming by default from the system. I'll build a new SLA by clicking here, and I'll put VIP SLA. I have end users, but I have VIP users, the one I like the most. So to those ones, I'll give a different service, VIP SLA. I'll click apply, and that SLA has in here 5 different tabs, and those tabs and options are exactly the thing that we talked about. Routing rules, specific requests coming from people having that SLA will go to where? First of all, who are my VIP end users? My VIP end users are the ones group E. I just said one randomly. I have no idea what we have in group E. Group E, because it's very critical that group E have everything working. Why? Because group E is in charge of the financial side of the company. Computers can explode, but it's about financial, we're talking about critical, okay, organization based. So any problem coming with ERP and finance, the one in charge of it will be Batman, actually in this case. So we will add. So IITIL, we have the first check in IITIL. IITIL said that we have an SLA, we have a routing. That's a specific person being in charge of that service level. You know, the end users to contact them and to be responsible of them. In this case, is Batman. Okay, it's in charge of the financials of the organization. Priorities. Every SLA has specific priority. Talking about the level agreement of normal end users, I'll use your ERP, your CRM in 2 hours. But if it's the ERP of final, I will solve it in 30 minutes or even 1 hour. Okay. So here for the VIP SLA, for all companies and all impact and urgencies, I don't care what, everything will be very high. Okay, the priority will be very high. So for every service request coming from group E will be very high. I don't care what was the urgency that the end user actually answered in, will be very high. What about priority regarding a specific asset? If we're talking about the ERP, everything comes from asset 732.11 or MKT019, which is for ERP server, will be very high. Everything which is coming from a specific user, for example, you have people which are critical, which must have a specific SLA level agreement for them in order to sell them as quick as, for example, the CEO. Okay, the CEO is abroad, or the sales people from the sales are abroad, and they have a problem. They cannot go over the presentation, and so on and so forth. So they have a specific level agreement. Due dates. Every ERP problem for ERP finance will be 1 hour. That's it. 1 hour is the time, the due time, which is not a lot, but important because we cannot quote, we cannot receive money. We are a bank. If our ERP or finance technology system goes down, then we have to close the bank. All of these tabs, you know them from the service desk settings. They're not new. But in this case, we look at them from the SLA side. Escalation rule. I want to create an escalation rule. Every time that the ERP is down, every time I have a new incident, server down EP, I want to notify all the end users ERP is down, so please stop doing new transactions, for example, and create a new escalation rule. Operating hours. In case for ERP, which is very important, I'll have from 12 to 12 means 24/7. Okay, because it's very important. We talk about VRP. Okay, exclude dates. We don't have exclude dates. We don't have memorial dates. We don't have anything. Okay, 24/7 for the SLA. Okay, I'll apply. I have an SLA, as you can see in here, VIP. Now, if I go to a specific end user, user management, for example, I'll go to the end user. We have here a lot of end users. They're low. Oh no, let's add a new end user. And here, I want this user to be part of VIP SLA. I'll go here to as agreement and add agreement to the form. In this case, not coming by default. So this end user that I will call it Ronnie, for example, will have the VIP SLA. Okay. So you have SLA to end users, level of users, level of groups, or level of over incident. An incident can be for a specific agreement. For example, if I go to the service desk, I go to specific incidents, for example, this one, and this one has agreement. No, let's add agreement. Agreement in here, and we click save. And we have here agreement. In this case, we have no. Why? Because we don't have a REST user. Why we don't have personal appendix? Okay, I'll get in a minute. If we have different entities in the system, for example, groups, end users, admin, and incidents and problems, the stronger one will be end user all the time. That means that if we have a VIP SLA in 2 hours, and we have an end user belonging to a group called Group E, and Group E has another SLA called Super VIP in 1 hour instead of 2 hours, and that's for the group, and we have an end user that is in Group E, but that end user has normal in his end user form, then it will be normal. Okay, that means the end user is the one that actually is the preferred one. Okay, the one that is the most important one. So SA, my tips to you is think of the contracts that are building. The SLA is the contract between you and your end users, okay? And enables you to define common ground rules, routing, due date, priority, operating time, and rules. Something that you receive in your course book, in which shows here in Sysaid how our SLA actually works. Part of the SLA is flow, which you will have time to and so on and so forth. So within here, in which we have SLM, which we'll see the next session. Now, small tip from me to you is maybe you don't have time to implement CMDB. Maybe you don't have time to think about good contract SLAs. No one has time. We know it, right? Right? Or no one has time. Time is very hard to find, but try to give you that specific. I won't call it time. We'll call it investment. And why investment? Because you'll get profit in the future. Try to play with it. Try new things. Okay. Implement SLA. Implement CMDB in your organization. If you don't like it, you can take it off. Okay. But let me tell you that we have a lot of customers that we say they completely change their IT department using these specific modules, tours, and we have more and more customers and organizations that go through the IITIL path. They actually realize that IITIL is the correct way to do it. Okay, is the correct procedures, the correct processes, and they do it and can perform measurement of that IITIL using the IITIL modules. Okay, in which we'll talk today and we'll talk tomorrow. So yeah, okay, think about it, implement them, and you will increase your efficiency even by 1%. Then that 1% worth it. Questions that you want to ask, something that if you like the session, raise your hand. If you didn't like the session, raise your hand also. How beautiful you are. All raising your hand, that's that you all like the session. And we will see you on the 31st. Let me open here. On the next, exactly 1 week from now. Why? Because next week we're not here. Sunday is holiday here in Israel, a holiday called Shavuot, in which we don't work, and it's a weird holiday that we just have to eat lots of cheese and very tasty things, and not only cheese don't work weird. And on 28th, okay, so on the 28th we will go over the video recording and we will upload everything, so we'll have everything for 28th. If you haven't started doing your final project, then you can start exactly now, okay? Because time blocks, okay, you have small extents of the LDAP problem, now you have no excuses. Do the final project, go over it, and see you next week, guys, okay? So thank you for being there and listening to me. And we're here, the sandbox to, of course, yeah, send me the emails and